something happened that has not happened all season in the National Basketball Association. The Minnesota Timberwolves rested D'Angelo Russell on Sunday, and the NBA fined them a whopping $25,000. Jalen, do you think this will dissuade teams from resting healthy players moving forward?
No, it's really head-scratching by the ball club, and here's why. Earlier in the year, Doc Rivers was talking about his team load managing, and he said the wrong thing that kind of wasn't in line with what Kawhi Leonard said, and their team got fined. So that was another situation where a team got fined basically for load managing. Here's the reality of it. Teams encourage it. Players want to do it and acknowledge and accept it. So you can dress it up any way you want to. The bottom line is players today don't take pride in playing a full schedule.
No.
And when you realize you can still get paid for those games, when you also realize all the media does is count rings and achievements, you're like, well, it's a Wednesday night. It's February. All people are going to do is judge me on the playoffs anyway. So now all of a sudden that trickles down from the elite players in the game to all the players in the game, to where you have a team like Minnesota who's been in the lottery perennially, basically. Yeah, they made the playoffs a couple of years ago. I know that.
Yep.
But for the most part, a team that goals aren't happening this year. Karl-Anthony Towns is dealing with some injuries. You just add D'Angelo Russell, who's an all-star with New Jersey, got traded to Golden State, got traded to you, and then you cheat the fans by not playing him when he's healthy. I understand the $25,000 fine, but that's really on the team for just putting themselves in that position.
Well, it really begs the question It's like, oh, you're going to fine me? Well, guess what? We'll do what LeBron did last night. We'll just make up some injury that maybe you have or maybe you don't have or maybe everyone's got banged up a little bit. So how can they stop teams from just associating resting players with injuries?
You're not putting that toothpaste back in the tube because the public a lot of times designates if that's acceptable by their favorite athletes. And nowadays, the audience feels like it's okay to take a day off. They have bought into that theory. I don't want to show my age and say, oh, back in my day, fans and the players wanted to show up for work.
Just do it.
I wanted to have a consecutive games played streak. Now it's, if I was him, I'd miss a game too. It's weird because now we have this privilege to believe that the players should be able to be around the league 15 or 20 healthy years, where that's not usually how this sports thing works. You're playing against the best of the best. Everybody dreams of this dream. If you're there for 3 years, you're lucky. If you're there for even more of that, you're even fortunate. So now that teams and players have found loopholes to elongate their careers, I can't be mad at it.
Jalen, I just want to point something out here. Do you know who doesn't load manage? Jalen Jacoby. You don't see us taking shows off. You don't see me going on vacation. You don't see me calling in sick. We'll be here every single day at 2 o'clock on ESPN 2. Moving on. Jalen, your old stomping grounds, Indianapolis. The Blazers and the Pacers faced off. It was a close game. Miles Turner hit a big three at the end to seal it for the Pacers. But it was that guy, Victor Oladipo, who in the third quarter had 12 of his 15 points, had a little energy, a little scoring, looked a little bit like the old Victor Oladipo from before the injury. He struggled a bit coming back from this injury. Do you think that he will be up to full strength come playoff time?
Well, you'll know when he's back because you saw that last layup for Victor Oladipo when he has his bounce. That's a bang bang Seagull Street right there. That's not a layup. That's somebody want to jump up if they want to, you're gonna get banged on. That's one of those. I remember sitting on the baseline when Michigan was playing at Indiana and he went coast to coast and got one of those right in front of me. So that's when he's back. Indiana are amongst a couple of teams that to me are clearly not the Bucks, who've distinguished themselves as the best team in the conference. The Celtics, to me, have slotted themselves as second, and the Raptors play the hardest, and they're the defending champions. After that, the Heat, the Pacers, the Sixers, it really depends on matchups, in my opinion, if those teams really going to have a legit chance to advance, and injury. And so now that he is back, hopefully he can play at a level that puts them in position to meet their goals.
The Pacers are a little bit tricky. Like they were really, after the All-Star break, they lost some games, and they've been kind of hot lately. It's just hard to tell who they are, but they will be a hard out come playoff time.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports analysis and highlights, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.